What if I told you that the person you love most might be stealing your inner peace, your connection with God? And you don't even realize it? You think it's love. You think it's a trial. You say you're patient, you hope, but deep down, something's wrong. Your faith is crumbling. Your heart is dying. You feel empty, lost, unstable. And you keep staying, because love forgives all, doesn't it? No, not when that love becomes poison to your soul. In this video, we're going to talk about that dreaded moment, the one where you have to choose between your attachment to a person and your loyalty to your Creator. Get ready. What you're about to hear could wake you up or break you. The love that steals your soul. If this person extinguishes your light, they were never your mirror. Read that again. But this time, think of him or her. Think of the person who changed you, but not in a good way. At first, you didn't even notice it. It was subtle. One extra smile, an excuse you would never have accepted before. A light conversation, then a habit. And then one day, you find yourself justifying something your heart knew was haram. You were more vigilant before, more connected. You feared Allah in a beautiful, pure way. You knew that even a simple glance could hurt your faith. But now, you find yourself saying, "It's not so bad." And that's when the test begins. Not in the accident, not in the sin itself, but in what you agree to become, to remain loathed by a creature. You start praying faster, or later, or not at all. And each time, you tell yourself that you'll make up for it tomorrow. But the tomorrow never comes. You put your light on hold so as not to disturb someone who lives in the shadows. You put a filter on your faith to make it more digestible. You started hiding what you believed so as not to scare people. And all this, so as not to lose someone. But ask yourself a real question. What have you lost within yourself so as not to lose this person? You may say to yourself, "Yes, but I love them." It's sincere. But is love supposed to make you forget your pact with Allah? Is love supposed to make you lie to your soul day after day? Or do you call love an addiction you refuse to admit? You haven't changed for the better. You've changed out of fear of being alone. And that is a fear Shaitan adores. Because he knows that when a human being thinks they're going to lose love, they're ready to sacrifice their light. But if the person you love pushes you to betray what your heart knew to be true, they don't love you. They don't lift you up. They wear you down, silently, spiritually. And you may not see that right away, but your soul has already begun to cry. And you feel that emptiness. Sometimes you hide it, but it's there. And when you laugh with that person, but you feel a hollow echo inside. When you post things online, but deep down, you're ashamed of what you're becoming. When you hear a reminder, and it stings because it hits exactly where you sold out. It's no coincidence. It's proof that your heart isn't dead. It's struggling. It sends shivers down your spine, discomforts, heavy silences. And every time you ignore it, you turn your back on it. Not on the person, not even on religion, but on your own light. And the question heaven asks you, over and over again, in those moments, is simple. Are we going to love a creature more than him? Not with words, but with actions, with compromise, in concessions on the unseen. For Allah has no need to punish the one He wishes to test. It is enough for Him to observe. It is enough for Him to see how far you will go, so as not to lose someone you are choosing over Him. 2. The invisible extinguishing. Imagine yourself in a room, not just any room, a room without visible walls, a room suspended in the invisible. There is no furniture, no windows, only darkness. And you in the center, standing up, holding a lit candle in your hand. This light is your heart when it is turned towards Allah, when you strive to remain true, even alone, when you cry for your forgiveness and not for the love of another, when you stay awake at night, not to wait for a message, but to whisper your pain to the one who never sleeps. You hold this light with care, because you know that in this life, no one can walk in your place. No one can carry your faith in your place. No one will be able to blow out this flame unless you offer it to them yourself. And then, this person entered your life. At first, you thought it was an answer, a gentleness sent by Allah, perhaps even a healing. You smiled, you hoped, you projected, but you didn't see what was happening in the invisible. Every word spoken lightly, every moment shared in what you knew to be a gray area, every prayer postponed, every spiritual silence, every negotiation with yourself. It was a breath, not brutal, not violent, no. A gentle breath, constant, slow, like a breeze that, little by little, makes your light flicker. But you said nothing, because you didn't want to appear too hard, too religious, too distant. So you started to hide the light a little. You turned it to one side. You told yourself, it's just a phase. You lowered your eyes, but not to Allah, to the attachment you felt for someone who wasn't looking in the same direction as you. And all the while, the room around you grew darker. Not because the light was less powerful, but because you let it go out without saying anything. You know what's most frightening? It's not being able to see clearly anymore. It's not even being able to feel that you're in the dark anymore. Some forget that they were once light, that they stood up to pray, even without an alarm, that they fasted on Mondays and Thursdays with joy, that they rejected what was questionable, that they were ashamed before God, not before people. But today, that light flickers, not because you're weak, but because you let someone else define your worth. And what hurts most is that this person doesn't even see the light they're snatching from you. They don't feel the cold they're leaving in your soul, because they won't be the one to carry your light on the day when hearts tremble. Look around you. Does this bond you cherish bring you back to the one who created you? Or does it constantly snuff out the last spark in your heart? There are relationships that don't brutally extinguish faith. They do so gently, out of fatigue, out of attachment, out of naivety. And one day, you no longer know if you're walking or if you're simply lost in the darkness, an unlit candle between your fingers. 3. The emptiness behind the smile. You smile often. Even when you're feeling down, you say, I'm fine, alhamdulillah. And people believe you. But between you and your heart, there's a distance. You don't know exactly when it started. You just know that since this person came into your life, you no longer recognize the silence after your conversations. You hang up, you take down your phone, and then there's this weight. There's something that tightens your chest, but you can't name it. It's strange, isn't it? You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be in love. So why do you cry so often? Alone, in the dark, far from everything. You're not crying because he hurt you. You're not crying because she betrayed you. You're crying Because something inside you knows this connection isn't what you prayed for. This isn't what you wanted. Not that kind of love. Not that feeling of losing yourself a little more with every "I love you." You say, "I'll be patient. I'll help her change. I'll be a cause of good in her life." But how many times have you said that while you yourself were changing, not upward, not toward the light, but toward a quieter version of yourself, more blurred, weaker in the face of what you know is danger? Do you remember who you were before this relationship? When your heart was still ashamed of disobeying? When you felt every little slip-up like a spiritual sting? When you weren't trying to arrange halal according to your desires, but to bend your heart to it? And now, you excuse. You rationalize. You say, "It's hard today, but tomorrow will be better." But how many tomorrows does it take before you realize that the emptiness inside you is deepening? What if what you're feeling wasn't romantic sadness, but a divine alarm, a signal from your soul telling you, "Come back"? It's not that you no longer believe, it's that you're drifting away, slowly. And it's this silent slide that hurts the most. You didn't fall suddenly. You let yourself drift in a sea of blurred emotions until you could no longer see the shore. You know what's hard to admit? It's not that this person is harming you. It's that you already know it, but you pretend not to see. You call on him, you pray, you ask for signs. And when the signs come, in your discomfort after seeing him, in your heavy heart after each call, in the constant doubt you say, "It's just me. It's my sensitivity. I must be stronger." But if Allah has already shown you, if the discomfort is already there, if your faith has already spoken, then who are you really lying to? Is it him? Her? Or is it the one who loves you more than you will ever love yourself? You keep saying, "I'm willing to wait." But sometimes, waiting for someone is moving away from Allah while you hope for someone else to come closer. And this equation never works. Because the soul was only created to bow down, and not to hang on a human's heart. And that silence you feel after speaking to that person, it's not a lack of love. It's a reminder that your heart knows when it's lost its way. 4. What if you looked at your life as Allah sees it? Stop for 2 seconds, breathe, and ask yourself the real questions. Not the ones you ask your friends, not the ones you ask your wounded heart, but the ones you will have to ask your soul, the day it is called back. Is this relationship bringing me closer to my ultimate goal? And masbuti. I'm not talking about your romantic goal, not marriage, not stability, not building something. I'm talking about your return to Allah. Does this connection help you find Him again, or help you forget Him a little more each day? When you're with this person, do you feel more modesty, or more laxity, more reminders, or more avoidance? Do you talk about halal, or do you arrange it, bend it, push it aside? Because you want to maintain this connection at all costs. Do you get up for Fajr with more conviction, or less? Don't give me the answer you give others. Give yourself the real one. Does your relationship push you to sleep with a peaceful heart or a distracted one? Do you go to bed saying to yourself, "Tomorrow I'll get closer to Allah"? Or do you say to yourself, "Tomorrow I'll sort this out. Tomorrow I'll stop. Tomorrow I'll resume my faith"? But tomorrow is an illusion. And every illusion has a price. You pay yours with your connection to Allah. Is this person protecting me from the fire, or gently nudging me toward it? Not out of malice, out of ignorance, out of passion, out of carelessness, out of a need for love that's stronger than the need for obedience. But in the end, the result is the same. Does she wrap you in excuses, or does she tear you away from bad habits? Does she encourage you to listen to your nafs or to fight it? Does she help you close doors? Or half-open ones you swore you'd never reopen? And if you had to give up your soul tomorrow, would you be at peace with that choice? Not what you feel, what you experience, what you nourish every day. Imagine, you are called back, and the last bond you nourished was this one. A bond where you knew you were disobeying. A bond where you felt your heart slowly recede into the darkness. A bond you no longer dared to present in your supplications. Because even before Allah, you no longer knew how to justify it. You know what's terrible? It's that sometimes you know all this, but you continue anyway. Because you believe you can make amends by loving better. But sometimes, loving someone is distancing yourself from them. Not out of pride, not out of fear, but out of loyalty to Allah. You don't do it because they're bad. You don't do it because they don't deserve it. You do it because you want your soul to survive. And if you don't save your soul now, who will? 5. It's not you who breaks. It's your heart that returns to Allah. You think that if you walk away, you'll break. You think you won't last. You think your heart won't recover. But look closely. It's not the breakup that hurts. It's the attachment to what is silently destroying you. You think this love is your lifeline. But in reality, it may be the anchor that's keeping you from rising to the surface. You call it stability, but your heart is unstable. You call it sincerity, but your faith is slowly drowning, and every day, you pretend. You smile. You say, "I've got it." But inside, you're bleeding. And the person isn't even the problem. This is what you've become in this relationship. Do you know what you feel? It's not sadness. It's a call. A call from your soul. It screams in the silence. And you smother it with messages and memories, excuses. But at the end of the day, when everything goes silent, when the light is out, when there's nothing left but you, your breath, and Allah, you feel this emptiness. You feel like you've betrayed something inside you, something sacred. And it's not shame. It's a lack of truth. You're not at peace. You pretend. But you know your heart is getting tired. You think you can handle it. But in truth, you're falling apart, little by little. And that's why it scares you so much to imagine moving away. Because you think you'll lose, you think you'll fall. But what if what you call losing was actually the beginning of your healing? What if this silence, this emptiness, this distance that you dread so much was the only way for Allah to finally speak to you without interruption? You see, Allah never takes without wisdom. When He takes someone away from you, it's never out of cruelty. It's out of mercy in disguise. He knows you better than you do. He knows what you refuse to admit. He sees what you hide from everyone. And sometimes, He takes something from you, not to punish you, but to force you to return to Him, even if it's in tears. You think your heart is dying, but no. It's just being purified, gently, through pain, and through the loss you so dreaded. You know what's really scary? It's not being alone. It's not having an empty heart. It's not waiting or starting over. What's scary is being accompanied by someone who's gently leading you away from your salvation. Because that person, they may be there today, but not at the moment of judgment. They won't hold your scales. They won't defend your failed prayers. They won't hold your hand when the angels ask, "What have you sacrificed your heart for?" 6. The courage to fly. There are nights when you sleep with a heavy heart, as if each beat were a silent prayer, a silent plea in the darkness. You know, deep down, that this love isn't healthy, that it's slowly tearing you apart, that it holds you like an invisible chain, like a cage without bars, but so heavy to carry. And yet, you stay there, frozen in this territory called attachment, like a bird that keeps the cage open, but refuses to fly away. Why? Because leaving requires more faith than staying. Leaving is crossing the void. It's facing the unknown. It's believing that this emptiness, this silence, this weight are a passage to something purer. Sometimes, true courage is to cut oneself off, to untie the ties that suffocate the soul, to face the pain of absence, and to say to Allah in one breath, I choose you, even if it shatters what I loved. This choice, it is not a defeat. It is an oath, a silent commitment you make before the greatest of judges, a promise you make to yourself that you accept to suffer now in order to heal tomorrow. Because sometimes, walking away, it is not giving up. It is freeing yourself. It is an act of love greater than pain, a love that is not measured by presence, but by fidelity to the one who guides your steps. You will not leave because you are weak. You will leave because you are strong, strengthened by the understanding that true love begins by loving your own soul, and above all, by loving Allah above all else. There are ties that Allah wants to break, not to punish you, but to save you. And if you've watched this video this far, it's no coincidence. Perhaps it's the sign you are asking for in your prayers. So ask yourself this question now. Who do I love? To the point of losing myself. And if this bond destroys you more than it builds you, cut it off. Come back. Rebuild with Allah. Subscribe if you want more reminders like this. Share this video with anyone who needs this signal. And in the comments, tell me, what is the one thing you had to let go of so as not to lose your connection with God? You are not alone.